Okay, welcome back for another edition of Thursdays with Sin. And today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects. And so the title of today is called Nope, Nada, Maybe. so, to go over this training today, I'm just going to tell you this is the thing that really was a turning point in my life and in my career in sales my entire adult life. And once I finally figured this out and mastered it, that's when it made all the difference for me. So I appreciate you being with me today and for joining in for another Thursdays with Sin. And hopefully something that I say will inspire you to take just one step toward your own entrepreneurial journey. All right, so let's jump right into today's training. And again, the title is Nope, Nada, Maybe. And today we're going to explore really what that means. And it's all about overcoming objections when you're presenting an offer or talking to someone, you're trying to sell them something or gain their agreement on something. So it doesn't necessarily have to be selling a product or a service, but it could just be simply trying to garner their agreement with what you're trying to say. All right. Typically, we do think about it as sales, that you are selling, you're pitching yourself, your product or your services to someone else that you want to engage with you in business or potentially buy your product. So that's kind of the focus that we'll use for it today. But the methodology and the strategy is the same regardless of the topic and regardless of how you're using it. It will work in basically every scenario is what I'm trying to say. All right, so today we're going to be exploring, again, how to overcome those objections and understand that the word no or the response of no from the person that you're pitching to, it doesn't necessarily mean no. No does not mean no in the case of sales, okay? We're just strictly talking sales here. No really means three possible things. It can mean not right now. No, not right now. No does not mean forever. It just means not right now. Possibly I'm too busy to listen to what you have to say. That's one. The second one is I don't trust you yet. So I'm not willing to give you my time because I'm not quite sure if I want to listen to what you have to say. You haven't convinced me that you're worthy, that you're someone I can trust, that I need to listen to, right? All right. So the third one is I need more information from you. I need clarity. I don't understand what you're trying to pitch me. All right. So we've got the three things: not right now, I don't trust you yet, or I need more information. That's truly the reason behind the majority of the no responses you will get when you're presenting your offer or your opportunity or you're pitching your service or a product. Now, of course, there is the possibility that there is a true no. So there's a difference between a no and a true no. A true no means that you have already exhausted these opportunities, these first three things, and you've already gone through those steps to negate those things. And then if it's still a no, then yes, it truly is a no. But what I'm trying to tell you today is that's not usually the case. You have to go through many steps before you ever get to the true no. So a true no only comes after that they actually took the time to listen, right? So that's the opposite of number one, when they said not right now, when now they actually took the time to listen. Number two is they do trust that you're giving them accurate information. So either their own understanding or they're just reading you. They're doing a gut check on if they believe what you're trying to tell them. And they do trust that you're giving them accurate information. And number three is that they have enough information to make an informed decision. Okay. So after you've exhausted those things, then there is the possibility of getting a true no. Now, again, I've been in sales and sales management my entire adult career. And a lot of that time was spent either pitching a product or a service myself or teaching other people how to do it. So what I'm about to tell you, again, is my proven tips and strategies of how to overcome these challenges and what has worked for me. And it actually came through lots, I'm telling you, tons of trial and error. But after a certain amount of time, you definitely learn tricks to the trade and you become better at it. You become more skilled, and it's a wonderful opportunity for you to get better and to turning those no's into a yes. Now, one of the very key, not just one, but the very key of turning those no's into yeses, or learning how to overcome those objections, is that basically it is that you have to learn how to overcome those objections. All right. So, oh, hi, Janice. Hi, Shelby. Great to have you both here live. Thank you so much. All right. Definitely give me a hashtag live or replay if you're catching this on the replay as well. And let me know your thoughts behind, if you've ever been in sales before, and really how does this pertain to your success or your strategies or things that you've used in the past to be more successful. So basically, before you can overcome these challenges, then you must understand them, right? So in order to understand them, just because they say no doesn't truly mean that they're not interested in what you're proposing. So the process, in order to learn how to overcome those objections or challenges, it definitely takes practice, right? You can't, it's not a natural skill probably that you have. You're going to have to go through the steps. You're going to have to practice it over and over and over again to just get better at it, get more comfortable in responding. And so we've got some tips here that I'm going to share with you. So let's take a look at those. And this is going to teach you how to be more successful in your sales pitch deliveries. Okay. 5 easy tips are what we're going to go over today. Anybody can do these tips. So I want you to pay close attention, because it's going to make a difference in being able to overcome your challenges and objections and turn those no's into yeses. Now, number 1 is to create a list of all the potential objections that you may encounter, right? So you want to imagine yourself in the shoes of the person that you're pitching to. You pretend to be them. What could they possibly think about what you're saying, right? And write it all out, because when you really look at it from an objective point of view, you're going to realize, well, maybe that sounds, this way or that way, or maybe their perception of what I'm saying could be this, that, or the other. So put yourself in their shoes and then brainstorm and think about every single possible negative response that they could possibly come up with from your pitch, listening to your pitch. And then I want you to create a positive answer to every single one of those. Now, your list could be short. It could be extremely long, right? It's going to, that will definitely depend on what you are talking about, what your subject is. But if you do the due diligence, take the time, list it all out, brainstorm, because this will serve you well in the end. Now, number 2 is to practice these answers so they roll off your tongue fluently, right? If you know them in your head, you can spit them out faster than anything. But if you don't know them and you don't practice them, you can't respond to them very quickly, and you will not look confident. And so that's what you want to portray. You want to be confident. You want them to understand that you do have a way to overcome those challenges or objections, and that you are able to move beyond that and produce a positive result. So practice, practice, practice. And obviously, now it goes without saying, you have to be honest. Whatever you're pitching and these objections that you're trying to overcome, you have to be honest. You can't be pitching something really crappy or really bad or something illegal and think that this challenge, or this method that I'm teaching you is going to work, because that is not what we're talking about here. You have to definitely be on the up and up and have high integrity, or you are definitely going to fail. And if you try to BS it, they're going to spot it a mile away. So that's instantly going to kill your chances. All right. So don't do that. Don't be that person. Now, once they come up with their objection to whatever you're pitching, listen very closely. I want you to agree with them. What? Yes, agree with them. Nod in accordance that you understand what they're saying. It doesn't mean that you're truly agreeing with what they're saying. It means you are listening and you understand what they're saying, and that you can understand maybe why they're saying it. Okay. So agree. Instantly agree, start nodding, because you are acknowledging their concerns at that point, right? When you acknowledge them, you're diffusing the situation and you're listening, you're showing them that you're listening. And then you can come back with a rebuttal or a comment or your words that you've already practiced to come back. But a great way to do that is by using the felt found technique. Okay, I'm sure you've heard about this. Our Charmaine, great to have you here. Thank you so much. The felt found technique is just repeating what they're saying. So you're identifying with their thought process, right? So you're acknowledging how they feel, but then you're going to interject how you went beyond that, how you overcame that yourself. So you're trying to identify with them, acknowledge it, validate their concerns, but you are going to show them how you went beyond that and that you did not allow that to be a limiting factor for yourself. Now, so here's an example. Yes, oh yes, I hear you. I completely understand. I used to feel the very same way, but I found that after blah, 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 pursuing the opportunity, getting to know the people, trying the product, blah, 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 whatever the rest of the sentence needs to be. So yes, agree with them. I hear you. I totally understand. I used to feel the exact same way. I understand you, girl. Agree with them. It totally diffuses because now you're on the same wavelength. You're on the same playing field. So now you're just two friends having a conversation versus trying to be argumentative. Oh no, you shouldn't feel that way. Oh no, don't ever do that, right? So the longer you can keep them talking, the longer you can continue the conversation. So when you're in agreement with them and you're nodding, like, you're, again, validating their concerns and you're giving it credibility, then they are much more willing to listen to whatever else you have to say. That's the whole key point here. You want to keep them talking. The longer you can keep them engaged in conversation, the more opportunity you have to change their mindset and to try to change their objection into overcoming that and being a positive experience, right? Now, so what you need to do is view each no as an opportunity to overcome their way of thinking, shift that mindset. Now, of course, you always want to remain calm and address their concerns politely and positively. Do not become defensive, argumentative, or pushy. Now, here's something I want to tell you from personal experience. I have people do it to me. Words of wisdom. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you. Tried and true. I'm telling you, it helped me. I encourage everyone to take note and really take it to heart. I know someone right now that is being very pushy with me on selling a product. They just joined a new multi-level marketing program, and they think this is just the end all be all of this line of products, and they're going to convince me, regardless of what I have to say, that I'm going to try it and I'm going to buy it, and that they're just going to beat me down until I do it. What has that just done? That has done nothing but turn me off, and I don't even care if it's a good product. At that point, I wouldn't buy it from you if I had to, right? If you're the last person on earth selling it and I needed it, I wouldn't buy it because now you ticked me off because of your brashness and your pushiness with it, right? So at that point, you're not selling, you're not trying to have a conversation, you're not interacting with that person and trying to overcome that objection. You are now being pushy and forceful, and you're turning your client off. So just wanted to share that personal experience so you understand the difference. There is a fine line of being pushy and really continuing the conversation and knowing when to step back and kind of let it go and try to carry on the conversation in another way, maybe later. So you're going to have to learn it, trial and error. You're going to have to do it. And you're going to have to practice. All right. Now that's number 3. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, at this point now, you're asking them an open-ended question, right? And you're basically trying to clarify their position. And the other point of asking them open-ended questions is you are showing them that you are willing to listen and you're truly interested in what they have to say. And when you ask an open-ended question, that allows them to go into detail to respond. They're going to explain further. They're going to open up and again, continue the conversation. Now, they may divulge a reason or an objection that you haven't prepared for before. So that's a great learning opportunity for you, right? You can probably still work around it if you've really done your homework from step one. But at least you're now learning about a potential objection that you may not have known about. Now, how you do this and how you ask these open-ended questions is you don't want to ask a question at this point that is a yes or no answer. They have to give you details. And how you do that is just by forming the question with these words at the very beginning of your question. Tell me more about blah. Help me understand why you feel this way concerning XYZ. So tell me more, help me understand why. Those are two perfect ways to ask open-ended questions to, again, show you that you care, show that you're interested in what they have to say, show that you're willing to listen and learn, because obviously you are trying to listen and learn, and you are on a fact-finding mission to not only learn about their objections, but the answers that they're giving you, you're going to be restating here in just a second. We're moving on to step 5 on that one. All right, Charmaine, open-ended questions to know more about their problems and their needs. Yes, it's a fact-finding mission. Okay, Shelby, persuasion, not convincing them. Right, you're browbeating them at that point, right, Shelby? You're not trying to convince them of anything, and you're basically just going to turn them away. They're going to say no faster, and you will never have a second chance to come back. All right, good points, girls, good points. All right. Thank you for validating that you understand that, because this is a critical part in the sales process. Now, let's see, Nate, again, you should already know the responses to any potential questions that come up if you've done your homework in number 1. But again, if not, then this is an opportunity to learn about something new that you can now build into your repertoire of responses when you're coming back trying to overcome these objections or challenges. Now, number 5, here's the critical point of how you're going to turn this all around and finish it up with a nice big pretty bow on the end. All right. It's restate back to them. You're going to repeat back to them exactly what they just said to you as far as their objections. You're going to turn it back around on them and say it in such a way that you are going to force them into a positive yes response. Now, how in the world are you going to do that, right? They just came up with all these negatives. So how in the world are you going to turn that into a yes? Here's how. There's a science. There's a method to the madness. All right. So hear me out. If you can force them, now force is too big of a word. That's too strong of a word. I don't want to say force. If you can guide them in the direction by formulating your question back to them to where they have to say a yes, that's a better way to say it, where they feel like they can't say no. That's even better way to say it. They can't possibly say no because you're turning it right back around to what they just told you was an objection. All right. So if you formulate that in such a way to where you just overcame those objections, how can they say no? They had an objection, you overcame it, there's no more objection. How can they say no? It has to be a yes at that point, right? So think about it that way. So I'm going to repeat that back again. So restate back to them their concerns in such a way that it formulates a yes response. By them just saying the word yes or thinking in their mind the word yes, immediately something shifts in their mindset. They then become open-minded to listen more, to get more information, to pay closer attention. Okay, so what has she got to say? What is she trying to tell me? Let me think about this thing. Let me pay attention. All right, so their mindset totally just shifted. Where before, they may have had a wall. They may have said, I don't care what you're going to say. I'm telling you these 3 things are my objections and I'm going to say no regardless of what you say. But in their mind, they may have been thinking about that. But once you turn that into a positive potential yes, they're going to pay attention. They're going to sit up. They're going to focus and they're going to listen to what you have to say, right? And they're now open to what you're going to tell them. Now, here's the way you do that. These are the exact words that you say, all right? If I could show you a way where concern number 1, state it, whatever it is, Concern number 2, state it whatever it is. And concern number 3, state it whatever it is, would no longer be a factor, and you could actually enjoy the benefits of state whatever I'm trying to sell them, whatever I'm offering, then would you be interested? Okay, so let's think about that. I just stated back 3 of their objections. All right, let's just say their 3 objections were, if I'm trying to promote my services, right? And they say, well, I'm just too busy. I don't have time. I don't have the funds to hire somebody. And I just don't understand how all that works. And I'm just not interested. All right. So if I were to repeat back to them, if I could show you a way to where it wouldn't cost you any extra money, you don't have to learn anything new because I'm doing it all for you. And you don't have to hire someone because the way I operate, I get compensated after I produce results, which means you've already made money. Then if I could show you how to do all that, would you at least be interested in listening to what I've got to say? Or at least learning more about the opportunity, whatever way you want to say it, right? Okay, well, they had 3 objections. I just told you I'm going to combat all 3 of them. How can they say no at that point? Okay, well, I don't have time. You told me I didn't need to take time. I don't know how. You told me I didn't need to learn, and I don't have to hire somebody, so I don't need any more money. Okay, well, maybe this isn't so bad then. Maybe this is a good opportunity. So they're thinking now. They're in a positive mindset, and they could potentially say yes, all right? So it totally is a major mind shift at that point. Now, so I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to sound ugly, but I'm totally using their words against them, right? So this is a strategic way to frame their objections in a positive light to where I'm saying they're not going to be a problem. I got that covered, girl. I can take care of that. It's going to be easy peasy. You won't have to worry about any of that. Sound good? Right? So obviously that sounds pretty good, because if they were honest in those first 3 objections, then they have to be honest, and they're going to look like a complete goofball if they say, well, it's still a no. Well, then at that point, you know that the no was not a sincere no. It was not a true no, because that means there's another underlying no that they just weren't truthful about, right? So now at that point, it could truly be a no because they've lied to you at that and haven't been honest in the conversation. They may have made up 3 excuses just to get you off their back or get you moving along, and they don't have time to talk to you, right? So they truly are not interested. You will definitely have those scenarios. So the beauty of what I'm trying to teach you today is that you can learn how to facilitate conversation effectively, and it is going to improve your chances of coming out in the end with a positive yes, or at least a maybe, to where you can continue the conversation further, and you're not just cut off dead in your tracks with a definite no, and it's a, I'm done, move on kind of thing, right? So I'm going to repeat this a little bit, so make sure that you get it. And I want to have some confirmation. So make a comment in the post here and let me know if you really get this, if this makes sense. All right. If they state several objections and you overcome each of them to where they no longer have an issue and they still say no, then they were not true objections. And there's another reason that they haven't revealed yet. All right. So again, you have to strive to have honest conversations and dig deep for the true root cause of what their objections or concerns are. So again, it's okay if they still say no. It's truly okay. You won't win every single time. All right. So I'm not trying to teach you that you're going to be successful every single time. No, but you will definitely improve your chances, right? Now, you will also, during these conversations, when you're having true, honest conversations with people, you will instantly learn how to recognize their demeanor and determine if they are true objections and they're really being honest with you, or if they're just BS objections to get you out the door or get you off the phone. You will recognize them instantly, because you will be an expert at that point, because you practice so much. You know how to tell if they're being honest with you, right? And there are lots of ways you can decipher that. But anyway, the more real and the more honest of a conversation you can have with them, the higher probability of success you're going to be able to win them over. Now, the steps from number 5 that we just went over shifts them again into that positive mindset. So I just want to repeat that again so you understand. When you can convince them to think, not even say, but just think or nod in agreement as a potential yes in their mind, they're going to now be open to the possibilities. They're going to listen. They're going to pay attention. And, as long as they don't continue down that no path, that's where they're going to, again, have that mental block and that mental wall, and they're not going to be open to anything new. But if you can just convince them just to be a teeny bit of a maybe, you can carry that conversation further and continue working on them so you can potentially change that into a yes. All right. So the object of the game, and I'll say game because if you think of it as a game, it's going to be less stressful for you, and it will be a challenge. You can see it as a challenge. You'll be much more open to enjoying the conversation and winning them over. And the more yeses that you get, the more momentum you're going to build, the more confident you're going to be. And again, it's just going to be able to continue that conversation farther. So you can be on your fact-finding mission and learn more about them and their business. And then it just continues the conversation more about how you can work with them potentially. Now, everything that I'm telling you today can be used in everyday life. You don't even have to apply it to sales, right? Not just business. You can use it and apply these techniques in anything, in conversations with your spouse or even your children, or maybe even some other family member. You can, anybody, your neighbor, you can use this philosophy and work with it anyway. The more you use it in the more varied situations, the more skilled you're going to become, right? So, obviously for the purposes of today, we want to talk about how you can apply it to your business. So, but you definitely practice in other ways because you're just honing your skills, right? And I promise you're going to be much more effective at winning people over if you can definitely master this technique. Now, in my world of e-commerce and how I work with other potential clients and trying to get them to allow me to represent them and their business in the e-commerce, platforms, then I'm offering my services to them, right? I'm trying to help their businesses grow and expand, maybe beyond their brick and mortar opportunity over into the e-commerce world, right? So I need for them to see and listen to me long enough for me to pitch my opportunity, right? So there are many, many, many negotiations that occur during this process. And this process won't necessarily be that very first one conversation. This process may be over 2 or 3 months time as we are working out deals and negotiating different steps or different levels of the business relationship. So, but I'm still going to be using the same strategy every single time. Every single time. I may say things differently. My pitch is the same. The words I use just may be different, right? I'm still going after the same yes answer. I'm still going to be overcoming any challenges or objections they may have. I've already done my homework. I already know what those, if I've done it well, then I already know what those objections are. And I've already overcome them with a valid point or an opportunity or a way to get around them. So it's no longer a problem for the business owner, right? So, my job is to find a positive response. So these objections or challenges are negated. They are no longer, they do not exist any longer. That way they have to say yes. There is no, there is no other answer, right? Now, the only differences that come when I'm making these pitches are the difference that I find in personality types, right? So I have to adjust to their personality types, whether they're very, they have a very laid back demeanor, or whether they're very high strung, or whether they're very domineering in the conversation. All of those are differences that I need to adjust to accordingly. If I've got someone that's very, very, very fast paced that I'm talking to, it's like, okay, just spit it out. I need to move on. I get it. Come on, tell me what you want to tell me. And then I come in with the approach of, well, let me go through an 18-point, PowerPoint presentation that's going to take me an hour and a half and explain every minute detail. No, that is not going to work. So I know every key point on that 18 key points of that PowerPoint, but I don't necessarily take the time to go over that. I'm going to pick maybe the top 3 that I think are their challenges, or maybe what they voiced to me as their challenges or objections, and I'm going to spit it off and rattle it out just as fast so I can be connecting with them on their level, on their same wavelength, in their same mannerisms, right? So that's a whole nother nuance of learning how to negotiate a deal, is that you relate to them on an even playing field and in their same demeanor, their same manners. So so that's really the only difference. I'm still going to use these same techniques. It just depends on how I present it, right? Now, another key point that I want to bring out that's really going to kind of tie all this up together is I want to mention the law of averages. Now, this is very, very critical to your success. And how often if we receive a no, how often do we get discouraged by that? It's like, oh, you just feel so defeated. It's like, oh, I just can't go on. I don't want to even talk to anybody else because it just hurt my feelings so bad. Well, you know what? Get over it. It's okay. It is okay. And here's why it's okay. I'm going to tell you how to pick up your ball and keep playing here, right? So think about the law of averages. And when you understand this concept, you will celebrate every no that you get. All right, I know you're thinking I'm crazy at this point, but hang in there with me. We got one more good point and then we'll be on our way. All right, so think about every single no response that you get. And when I mean response, I mean a true response. You've already negated, you've already overcome their objections, and it's a true no at that point. Again, the objections they gave you were not real then, they were BSing you. There's another hidden reason they didn't divulge probably. Or they may just come out and tell you, okay, this is it. This is the bottom line. It's not going to work. I'm sorry. And that's okay, right? But when you get that true response, that's when you start counting. That's 1, right? Count up and work towards your magic number. What is your goal of no's? What is the magic number and the law of averages where you need to find how many no's do you need to get before you have a yes? All right. So think about that. This is the science behind it, right? So you think about, and in my business and my experience and all my success and all my trial and errors and failures in the past, we're talking, I don't even want to tell you how many years. How many would that be? Oh my gosh, we're close to now 40. Oh my God, it's 30. Oh gosh, it's probably 40 years of business, right? In sales and sales management. So of 40 years of experience, I'm telling you, you've got to learn your law of averages, use it as a positive to help motivate and inspire you to move to the next no. Celebrate every no you get, because that just moves you closer to your magic number, right? Now, in my experience, the magic number was 20. Now that might sound like a huge number, but not really, because you might can go through 20 conversations in one day, and already in 24 hours or 48 hours, now you have your first yes. All right. It might take you a week. It might take you a month. It might take you 5 minutes. It just depends on what your approach is and what your methodology is. But think about that. For every 20 no's that I get, the law of averages says that I'm going to have a yes. When I'm on number 15, I'm getting excited. When I get 16, I'm even more excited. By the time I get to 19, I'm jumping up and down. Please let this one be a no so I can get to my yes. All right, so think about that. Think about how just by you getting closer to your magic number, on average, okay, might be 10, might be 30. On average, it's 20. All right, in my experience for me. So think about it. Psychologically, what is happening to me when I get to 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19? Does my energy change? Does my enthusiasm level change? Or possibly the words change? Does my demeanor change? What is it about me that changes? Because I know I'm getting to that magic number, right? So I'm utilizing that as a positive motivator, because I know the law of averages, when I hit 20, I'm going to get that yes. Maybe that's why I'm successful when I get to 20, because I've changed. My energy has changed. My demeanor changed. My enthusiasm changed. My confidence level has changed, all for the better. So maybe I'm just better when I'm in that realm of time frame, that I'm just more successful at closing the sale, right? Or getting their buy-in. So think about that. I don't know. Is there science to that? I would think so. I don't care. I know I'm getting a yes, and that makes me happy. And that way I can continue to be successful in my own business. So the bottom line of today's training, I just really want you to think about and be open your mindset to a no does not mean no forever. All right. It is your job to turn that no into at least a maybe, and hopefully get you that much closer to a yes. All right. Now, Charmaine, failure is part of the journey to success. It's a chance to learn from our mistakes. Absolutely. Oh gosh, I just posted a quote on my personal Facebook page last week that says failure, failure is not, how did it go? Failure is part of success. All right. You don't fail, you don't have success because of failure. It is actually part of success. And that just means you have to fail, you have to learn, you have to pick yourself up, motivate yourself. That really, if you think about that into the law of averages and the magic number of 20, then that is exactly what that's trying to say. Use it, take advantage of it and use it as a motivator to help you get to that yes and get to that success level. All right. So all in all, I want to use these 5 steps and help you improve your skill sets. After much trial and error, you will become better. You will become more successful. And your magic number might even come down. Instead of 20, you might drop down to 15 or 10 or 5, right? Because the more skilled you are, the better you're going to be and the more clients you're going to win over. So celebrate those no's and turn them into powerful yeses. Trust me, it works. All right. So I want to hear from you. I want you to give me your thoughts on today's topic and how you deal with no's. What are some of your experiences that you've experienced in the past when you've been trying to convince someone that, or whether you're trying to sell your service or your product, or just trying to get them to understand your way of thinking, right? Sometimes it's just having a conversation so they are open-minded just to see another viewpoint. You're not actually selling anything. So that's when I say you can actually use the same strategy, not only in business, but in personal relationships as well. So I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts, any similar tips and your successes that you've had using this similar strategy. Now, thank you for joining today. I appreciate you so much. And I want you to know that if you're interested in learning more about what I do as an e-com business manager, then check me out. I have a free Facebook group, which is e-com business community, e-com business management community. And then you can find more trainings free like this on my website. We're constantly adding new stuff and building it up right now. So learn more about it. There's a great way to learn how you can become an e-commerce business manager and write your own paycheck. All right. So thanks for today. That's a wrap. I appreciate you so much. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon on the next time. Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.